Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I'm your disheveled goblin host Daniel Green, and today I'm happy to announce that if you would like to meet me this weekend, I will be doing a signing in Rochester, New York at this location on screen now with these authors signing alongside me. So if you happen to be in that neck of the woods, I'd love to meet you. Also, I started a podcast with Book Reviews Kill called Good on Paper. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. But now, let's get to the news. I just heard my cat knock something over. Our little friend jumped in the dryer here, but let's go ahead and get in the first news of the day, which is a cover reveal brought to you by Patrick Leo, who has just become such a cornerstone of fantasy news as a institution. By M.H. Allende for A Song of Legends Lost. To be released in 2025, this book is being published by Orbit Books, with art by @Flatstrap Art. In the 9 lands, only those of noble blood can summon the spirits of their ancestors to fight in battle. But when Temi, a commoner from the slums, accidentally invokes a powerful spirit, she finds it could hold the key to ending a centuries-long war. But this is going to transition us right into a cover reveal for a legend of the genre, Adrian Tchaikovsky. With cover art by Joe Wilson, we have received Days of Shattered Faith. Diplomacy, politics, and war. Sometimes being a good person isn't enough if you're working for the bad guys. This is coming December of this year, and this is a really great execution of this art style. It reminds me of some of those like cool art pieces you see online that have like incredible amounts of detail hidden throughout like a city the artists have drawn you can keep zooming in on. My only critique, and this is just because I have an immature 5th grader brain, the color choice. Kayla, what color does the water make you think?
It's a golden shower.
And then for the final cover reveal of the day, we're going to fold back on over to Petrick and take a look at Falling into Oblivion by Aaron M. Payne, a debut novel with cover art by Katrina Belikova. Cyberpunk with giant cyberpunk-ish looking lizard, absolutely phenomenal. And with it being a debut, you can sign up for an ARC review copy with a link provided that I'll have down below. This cover's doing so much right for me. The use of neon lights in the backdrop, a lightning chain whip, something along those lines, cool. There's just something about the lack of movement for the two characters that's clashing a little. I just wish I could get some more momentum here. This is something I actually struggled with one of my own covers, but I do especially like how the words are laid out. They've really let the art shine. They've just dinosaur cyberpunk. You're not going to read that. But in the only special edition reveal we're going to get into today, the Folio Society has unveiled its deluxe limited edition of 1984. And this will be coming to you for $750 US or 500 pounds. I want to make it clear that this is for sure a limited edition. Only 750 are going to ever be made, and they're being hand bound by a duo that work for the Folio Society for editions like this. That is why the price is exuberantly high, in my opinion, though I'm not saying this kind of limited edition shouldn't exist, but this is absolutely in the territory of you are buying this edition of 1984 because it's like your favorite book ever, and you want an art piece that you're not even going to casually read ever to reflect that. So if this is something you're feeling like FOMO of, oh, I really want that special edition, I wouldn't even consider this a special edition. I would consider this like an art piece you're not gonna let your guests touch. But this brings us to the 2024 Locus Awards winner, many of which are probably now going to be bumping their way into your TBR. So now I'm happy to have Kayla step in to read you who exactly won which category for the Locus Awards of 2024. Kayla, take it away.
For the science fiction novel, the winner is System Collapse by Martha Wells.
Murderbot!
For fantasy novels, the winner is Witch King by Martha Wells. Gosh, she's killing it. Holy cow. For horror novel, the winner is A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. For young adult novels, Promises Stronger Than Darkness by Charlie Jane Anders. For first novel, The Saint of Bright Doors by Vajra Chandrasekhara. For novellas, Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. For novelettes, The Rainbow Bank by Uchechukwu Nwaka. For short stories, How to Raise a Kraken in Your... That's so cute. Okay. For short stories, How to Raise a Kraken in Your Bathtub by P. Jelly Clark. For Best Collection, White Cat, Black Dog by Kelly Link. And for anthology winners, Out There Screaming by Jordan Peele and John Joseph Adams. What can Jordan Peele not do?
And if you haven't seen enough badass fantasy art today, which let's be honest, there's never enough, I'm happy to say that the Broken Binding has brought us another look at some Sun Eater art by Renee Agner. Titled Audience with the Undying, I can't get into what this scene depicts because spoilers, but I can say it's not exactly how I pictured it. But it's better than how I pictured it, and that's the best kind of fantasy art reveal. Like, I get that all the time with the art by the main guy who does Lord of the Rings stuff, whose name is eluding me now. We're all like, I'll visualize something from the Silmarillion, and then I see his art, and I'm like, that's better. Well done. My imagination limited. Your art infinite. And I have some very exciting news for Michael Moorcock fans. For the first time, Elric the Necromancer will be printed in English, adapted from the stories by the author himself. These comics feature the titular character Elric, who must face an epic threat without his legendary Stormbringer. These comics were written by Jean-Luc Cano and Julien Blondel, with art from Valentine Setcher, originally all in French, and now they're going to be brought into English. These books follow Elric after some spoilers where he's still recovering from spoilers, and they're set to be released November 18th. I really need to read and review the Elric stuff here on the channel. I am currently reading Sabriel by Garth Nix. Really enjoying that. And if you're looking for a first and last, I actually did a first and last for the Kylie and Kendall Jenner science fiction book. Yes, they wrote a sci-fi book, and I'm releasing a first and last on it this weekend. I want to make it clear, it is something different. Lex and Livia, Cosmo. I don't understand if we're even changing perspective anymore. I don't understand anything. I feel absolutely insane. And in my never-ending mission to cover all news related to our world slowly churning into a sci-fi nightmare, it seems that living skin is now being applied to robots to achieve a more realistic smile. And I know what you're thinking. No, using a bunch of tiny hooks to just pull the skin back across the face is not how they're doing it. That just tore apart when the robot moved. And instead they're using a bunch of underlying ligament structures, tiny ropes of flexible collagen and elastin. They then apply this gel of living skin over top, and then you have it. Something that's totally not going to be standing over you one day demanding that you surrender to your new robot overlords. Holy God! But in our last major book news of the day, Mary Robinette Kowal has officially launched a Kickstarter for a story collection from her, all taking place within the award-winning Lady Astronaut series. Silent Spaces. This will feature 9 short stories, one of which is brand new just for this collection. This also comes with a bunch of bonus swag I'll have available for you to check out in a link down below for a Kickstarter. I just want to say, as someone who's had to manage a Kickstarter and come up with tiers and stuff before, very well done. Spacesuit. Nice. And for those of you who have the anxiety around Kickstarter, if I want to back it, but be sure I get it, it's already funded. But this is not our only Mary Robinette Kowal news of the day, because she has joined the ranks of science fiction authors honored in space. On a post to Blue Sky, Mary Robinette Kowal said, "I've just learned that the International Astronomical Union has named an asteroid after me. I'm a little overcome. It's out near Jupiter, so there's no danger of it hitting Earth." For those of you who have read her books, that's great. Actually, nah, if we were all gonna go out, I kind of wish it was by an asteroid named after Mary Robinette Kowal, just for the irony. That's a good way to go. I feel like as the trajectory of humanity's currently on, not the worst option. With the classification of a main belt asteroid, 52691 Mary Robinette K 1998 FC6 will live on for eternity as Mary Robinette Kowal's very own asteroid. It has an absolute magnitude of 15.24. Again, don't know what that means, but it sounds badass. And seriously, big congratulations to Mary Robinette Kowal. This is like actually an honored rank to me among for authors, which is so cool. And if anyone in the scientific community wants to name anything after any author, including myself, just know, don't hold back, do it. We all love that shit. And if you do want to name it after me, Goblin Dan Goblin. The Goblin something. You can do it. I know it's there. But in the, without a doubt, biggest news of the day, it has been announced that Piranesi, the fantasy novel, is going to be adapted into a stop-motion feature by Leica, with of course Travis Knight set to direct. I've seen a little bit of polarized opinions on this, and I completely understand why. Piranesi, I didn't exactly expect to be adapted in stop motion, but this is a hell of a studio to do it. They do phenomenal work, no doubt, and while this may not fit my exact vision of what I assumed a Piranesi adaptation would or could be, I can't wait to see this. Even if it's not my exact vision, I can appreciate well done art adapting a great story, period. And just so you know, yes, Piranesi is going to be the next book review you're getting from me. Yay, it should be out later this week, followed up by Sabriel, followed up by a book that my Patreon's currently voting on. And because I don't have a sponsor in this video, I'm just gonna take a quick moment to say if you wanna check out my book, it's over at shop.wraithmark.com. Neon Ghost is available in hardback and paperback. And it's a cyberpunky, buffy, bladey time. And this brings us to our one trailer reveal of the day, and that is for Nosferatu. Full disclosure, I'm actually not gonna watch this trailer. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and I wanna go into it completely blind. So I am notifying you this trailer exists in the world, but I will not be consuming even a frame of it before I go in to see it. So I'm in an awkward position now where I go, yeah, that sure was great. It's wonderful.
Maybe?
And in some Harry Potter news, the upcoming HBO series we've reported on here in the past has found its creative team, both of which are connected to the wildly successful show Succession. Duo Francesca Gardner and Mark Mylod. Gardner was a consulting producer on seasons 3 and 4 of Succession, while Mylod directed a plethora of episodes, with Francesca set up to be a writer and Mark a director for the upcoming Harry Potter series. And this is the one that's just going to be a readaptation of the core books with a new cast, and this is coming right in the heels in the fact that HBO has decided to move its Harry Potter series from exclusively Max to HBO because streaming. And I'm kind of curious to see what the reaction for this is going to be. I don't know why I said that. No, I'm not. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm not looking forward to it in any way, shape, or form. And in a quick bit of quickie news, we have also seen that A24, a studio that has kind of been at the forefront of cutting-edge modern fantasy sci-fi filmmaking, has just raised money at a $3.5 billion valuation, netting a total of $250 million in investment. This is substantial growth from their $2.5 billion valuation last seen in 2022. And all I gotta say is, like, don't fumble it. A24, been on a run that's just legendary in the history of film. Don't mess it up. That's all I gotta say. And as I was just finishing recording here, it has been announced that Disney Plus is going to adapt Rick Riordan's The Kane Chronicles. Set in the world of the Percy Jackson franchise, The Kane Chronicles will have Riordan on board as a writer and executive producer. With the success of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, this project that was previously announced to be in the works in some form over at Disney Plus has been revitalized, and while it was originally said to be films, it is absolutely going to be a series now. This will not be following Percy himself, and instead a pair of siblings named Carter and Sadie. Though if you are familiar with the Rick Riordanverse, Roidverse? That sounds like a medical condition. There apparently is a novel that overlaps. These characters meet each other. Cool. And while I've not read them myself, what I'm reading here indicates that they kind of further expand the mythos of Percy Jackson and the Olympians into even wider expanses than it further reached. I can't go any wider. This is as wide as I can go.
And today's Indie Pub promo is The Tome of Haren by Damian Francis, pitched as a classic epic fantasy tale of adventure with some interesting twists on fantasy tropes, full of multiple perspectives, political intrigue, intense action, brutal antagonists, magic, spirits, and vivid horror. The nation of Narion is vulnerable. There hasn't been a keeper to protect and defend its people for over 150 years. As rumors of war grow, Narion needs a keeper more than ever. Orphaned since birth, Ador has no expectations for life except surviving day to day. So when a legend from old stories claims that he is to be the next keeper, the powerful champions entrusted with defending Narion, Ador must journey farther than he ever imagined in search of an artifact long thought lost. the Tome of Haren. Now, Ador must contend with elite mercenaries called Blooders, hired to retrieve the tome for their mysterious Dark Master. As the challenges mount and time draws nearer to the war to come, Ador questions whether he can live up to the legacy of the Keepers and save the nation of Narion.
But this has just been your latest episode of Fantasy News. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. Check out Good on Paper with me and Evan, and I hope to see you Saturday if you're in the area of Rochester, New York. Goodbye! Book available at ship.readpark.com.
Later, nerds.